Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, I answered a few of your questions on Instagram. My Instagram is at Federico Talks Watches, by the way. And we're going to be talking about everything from Omega versus Panerai to the best manual wine chronographs under $5,000. And, what would I get an Omega or a Rolex, amongst other questions. Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing my H. Moserer Venturer Concept Arctic Blue. Wow, that's a mouthful. Limited edition of 100 pieces. My latest, I don't know if it was my latest, one of my latest acquisitions. I've had it for about 3-4 months. I'm loving it to death. And also, guys, don't forget to check out DelrayWatch.com. I'll keep it quick, but we got a bunch of cool watches in stock. My three favorites are a solid gold Generation 1 Vacheron Constantin on a bracelet with a blue dial box and papers. We got a very cool vintage Burlwood dial Rolex Day Date President, and a very cool, and also very good, Rolex Explorer 2 16570 Polar Dial. All that and more at DelrayWatch.com. Go check it out. So yeah, guys, I have a few of your questions today. Today's a little bit of a short and sweet video because I'm actually running to get a haircut. I feel awful. I mean, I could cut it myself, but the last time I did that, blood. Let me just put it that way. But yeah, let's get right into it. The first question is from a good friend of mine, Bruno Papa 1, and he says, would you buy a PAM 111 or a Speedy? Well, I've owned both. I owned a Speedmaster for 4 or 5 years. I've owned a PAM 111 for 10 years. The 111, the Speedmaster is better horology. I'm not going to lie to you. More complicated movement. Omega, manual wind Lemania chronograph, whereas the Panerai is only a 6497. Personally, if it was just about kind of horology, I'd get the Speedmaster, but personally, I just prefer the PAM 111. I know I'm going to get a little bit of crap for that, but I prefer the design. I wore it more often, and in fact, that's still in my collection, and the Speedmaster isn't. You can't go wrong with either, though there's the objective way to look at it, the emotional way. Objective way, I say go Speedmaster, emotional, PAM 111, at least in my opinion. Tim_Laughlin2. Do you think Rolex dive watches are worth $4,000 to $5,000 more than Omega Seamaster? Tim, there's two answers to this. Once again, they're worth what the market says they're worth. Is the realistic answer. Now, horologically speaking, no, absolutely not. The Seamasters are just as good, if not arguably, some people think even better than a Rolex Submariner, at least spec-wise, material-wise. Rolex has the prestige. Rolex has not even the history, but they have the marketing. They have the demand. So the market says, yes, they're absolutely worth it. And I own a Rolex, so I don't want to be a hypocrite. I love it to death. But these are all luxury watches. I mean, you could argue a G-Shock should be worth more than a Seamaster if you want to talk purely on accuracy, which obviously that's not why we're part of this hobby. So objectively speaking, no, I don't think they're worth $4,000 to $5,000 more at all. They're extremely equal. But the market says they are worth more, and that's kind of the simple answer. Matt R. Parker, 35. Best manual wine chronograph under $5,000. 38 millimeters or larger besides the Speedy Pro. Matt, you know what? I read this question a little while ago, and it's really hard. There really aren't that many manual wine chronographs under this price point. Manual wine chronographs are kind of used as halo products or prestige watchmaking by the brands like Lange and Patek Philippe. The Speedmaster is one of the few manual wine chronographs you can get under $5,000. And honestly, I only thought of one or two. The only one I think worth mentioning, and maybe a few escape me, so maybe guys, leave suggestions below, but the only one worth it to me is the Zenith El Primero hand wind. It is 38. It's an El Primero with the rotor removed. So you get the high beat rate, you get the column wheel, which actually Speedmaster doesn't have. You get a better movement than the Speedmaster, in my opinion, and it's hand wind. Now, is it cheating because it's originally an automatic architecture? Maybe, but at this price point, I don't think you can split hairs. RJMA11. Do you think brands pay attention to young people sub 30 years old? Well, I'm no longer sub 30, but I wasn't that long ago. And I also worked in the watch industry for brands, and I can tell you, no, they don't care about us or you guys at all. People under 30 don't have money. They don't have money to spend. I mean, these are generalizations, of course, guys. There's very wealthy, 28-year-olds, 25-year-olds, whatever. But generally, they don't have money. And brands prefer to target the 45 plus demographic. People with disposable incomes, more mature, further along in their career, and maybe want to feel a little bit younger, and they can kind of get to that feeling through watch marketing. Yeah, but generally, people sub 30 aren't really spending money on luxury watches. Watch brands know that, and they completely ignore them. It's just the truth. Now, last one, Juban62, sub 5 grand triple calendar, Junghans or Longines? Well, both beautiful watches, and both use the exact same movements, either the Valjoux 7751 or an Etta/Solita 2892 with a calendar module. Depends which Longines or Junghans you're looking at, but basically the same movements. It depends on aesthetic at this point. Personally, I prefer Longines. I'm not a huge Bauhaus guy, but the Junghans is a little bit more watch geeky, and if you are into Bauhaus, absolutely a great pick. Unfortunately, on this one, they're very, very equal. I don't think you can go wrong with either, but be sure to pay well under 5 grand. I mean, like pre-owned, like 2.5 to 3 grand tops. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the short little Q&A. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really does help. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any content. Guys, thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.